Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. All right, so my stomach's full. Just bought myself some jerk chicken. It's delicious, and now the Laker game comes on in 30 minutes, so I figured I'd do a Laker video of some sort. And DTLF said something that I thought was pretty interesting, really interesting actually. He said that his trade scenario has us, in his what he was essentially suggesting is that maybe we go after Cam Thomas of the Brooklyn Nets. And I know we've been talking to the Brooklyn Nets off and on, I'm sure. Nothing official, but like just the rumors are, we've been talking to the Brooklyn Nets about Dorian Finney-Smith and Johnson, Cam Johnson. Is his name Cam? Whoever that was who used to play for the Phoenix Suns, playing great right now. I don't know why I can't think of the man's name, but I think it's Johnson, something. Cam Johnson, maybe? I think it is Cam Johnson. They got Cam Thomas and Cam Johnson, who are both just fires. They're fires. They shoot with hot heat at all time. And I like the idea of trading for both of those players, to be honest with you. Now, the thing about it that makes me hesitate is the sense that we already have a lot of people who shoot the ball. And what we're finding is we have a sweet medium of players like Max Christie, Cam, the other Cam that we have, Cam, so many dang Cams, man. But, yeah, the players that we have don't shoot very much, is essentially what I'm saying. You got Cardi G, Gabe Vincent. We allow for Austin, Rui, Braun, AD to get the requisite amount of shots necessary for them to have their numbers, and we still score plenty. We get like 120 points these days off our excellent offense. What you might end up finding out is that you trade for a big scorer like Cam Thomas or Cam Johnson and find out that now you have too many people who need to eat in your offense. We complain a lot about Cardi G not shooting enough. We complain a lot about how we don't get enough scoring out of certain players. But the truth of the matter is we have plenty of shots going up. Three-point diet is getting better. When you pick up that type of talent, you're definitely going to go up to three-point diet. Your spacing is better. You pick up that type of talent, your spacing is definitely going to be better than this. But what you end up finding is that some of those guys, you're not going to get the most out of because they need more shots to get in rhythm. They need more opportunities than maybe what you're going to have available to them with Braun and AD on the team. Now, Braun is going to be willing to pass 100 times a game if necessary. Austin Reeves can shave back his scoring attempts. I really believe that some of the possessions probably best going to different people anyway. And we've talked a lot about that over the last couple of days. But in my mind, I really think that I worry that we would bring a guy like Cam Thomas to our situation and suddenly have too many guns and not enough time for them to shoot. So that would be my only hesitation about bringing anybody like that to our team, because Cam Thomas is such a lethal scorer, but I don't know that we really need scoring that bad. But I would love to have that type of talent just the same, and for the type of package that they may want for us to give them. When I start talking about Brooklyn Nets trades, I kind of want to go after Cam Thomas and Cam Johnson. Those are the two players that I like on their team right now. Dorian Finney-Smith is a nice piece, and if he were on like a vet minimum contract, I would be super excited about him. But on the contract that he's on, for the price tag that people currently have him at, I'm scared away. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not a Dorian Finney-Smith guy. I was when he was with Dallas, but since he's been with Brooklyn, I just haven't seen anything that make me say, okay, this is a player that's going to come in and change life for me. I think Father Time may have come knocking on his door a little bit. He still can help you defensively. Probably would be a nice piece for the Lakers. But for the price tag, that's a different conversation. There's a lot of players that would be great pieces for the Lakers. But once you start talking about the price tag, it's a different conversation. So I understand that the Brooklyn Nets want to they're in the same place Utah was about 3 years ago when Utah started the season really hot, but wanted to tank. Thing about it was Utah wasn't able to get rid of enough of their players soon enough to effectively get their tank going. So as a result, they weren't able to get Wemby. They just started the season too damn hot. And so I think Brooklyn kind of sees that their team is winning games, and they were probably hoping they wouldn't be as good. But you give guys NBA opportunities at real minutes, guys can play. Dennis Schroeder's been waiting for this opportunity his whole life. You know, this is the type of opportunity he needed when he ended up with the Rockets and with the Boston Celtics. He needed something like this, where he's at now, to prove that he's a big-time guy to get a contract. Unfortunately, that situation came well after he got the contract. But now he's showing you why he felt like he was a leading guy, why people should have paid him whatever he wanted. Problem is that they don't need him to continue this. So they would like to move him while his value's high, and it makes all the sense in the world. For us, it makes a lot of sense to probably go after Dennis Schroeder. Problem is, once again, price tag. We know of the best of Dennis Schroeder. We know of the worst of Dennis Schroeder. We've seen him at his absolute greatest, and we know exactly who he is. He knows our unit. He's been with us twice since Bron has been here. You know, this is a player that obviously we should be targeting based on continuity, capability. But once you start talking about his price tag, it's like what they want for him. Nah, I'm not giving up 2 picks for him. So this is the type of thing where it's like, nah, I'm not doing that. I think for me, I would want Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson, and maybe like Deron Sharp, because we got to address the center position whether we like it or not. If we really don't address it, we're probably coming short of what it is that our responsibilities are. I do respect that we have Koloko in place now, so maybe it's not as pressing of a need, but it's still a pressing need, in my opinion, to get that big man. I also think a forward's probably needed now, a swing man, which is why Cam Johnson is on my list at this point. You know, I'm going to tell you guys, I think I'm much higher on Cam Johnson now than I was in the offseason. When we talk about getting him, he was a player that I figured, you know, he's nice. I've seen him do some good things, especially with the Phoenix Suns. He had sequences that really helped the team stealing the ball, playing defense. So I'm aware of his defensive ability. I don't know if it's translated as much to Brooklyn. I don't know. Just consider me in the dark about his defensive capability, but his three-point shooting has always been good. It's just, can he stay healthy long enough to really show it? Well, now he's healthy. He's in great shape, and we're seeing what type of player this can be. He is definitely somebody we need to be targeting right now, in my opinion, and he has rise to the top of the players that I would otherwise want to trade for. I just think he's a perfect feast for the Los Angeles Lakers. Come in and give us some Max Christie minutes. Come in, give us some Cam Reddish minutes, and be better than those two. Straight up. Just be better. And we don't necessarily have to get rid of either one of them. But like, if I have a choice of what I think is absolute pressing need, as I talked about this morning in my Magic pregame video, I think the Lakers need to be looking for a small forward at this point. Our point guard position was a need while we were starting Austin Reeves and D'Lo together. But now that we've effectively found that D'Lo is willing to come off the bench as a point guard, Austin is willing to start as a point guard, and we can be effective with him doing so, maybe getting a backup point guard isn't as pressing of a need as maybe now, seeing how the roster is shaking up, that we could use another small forward, because we can't effectively find the best suitable piece on both sides of the floor for the shooting guard, small forward position. The swing man, small forward position. We just don't have that piece. That Rui Hachimura is not that. Dalton Connect could be that, but not next to the players we have on the floor. If we want to be defensively competent, we have transition defensive issues. We love the idea of spacing. The type of spacing that Cam Johnson can provide our team right now is unmatched, based on just how well he's looking this season. If I were going to make a trade right now, based on the trades that have been available to the Lakers that are rumored, my focus has shifted away from some of the other stuff I was thinking about and kind of turned toward Cam Johnson. I just think that those who were saying we need to go after Cam Johnson are starting to show. I'm starting to see the light when it comes to the Cam Johnson piece for the LA Lakers. I just think that since he's been in the league, has he looked better than he looks right now. And I think our roster could really use him more so than I thought in the past. So that's the piece I think we should really go after right now. If we can get a trade going, they're probably going to want a first rounder. I I don't know what his contract looks like. I wouldn't give up 2 first-rounders for him, and y'all know I'm very conservative with first-round picks, so I'm going to try to get that trade done without a first-rounder. So that's my point of view. I would rather do that trade without a first-rounder. But I do think he's worth a first-rounder. If you're going to do a trade like that, I think you're getting good value for his age, for what your needs are as a team, for what he can do in different positions as well. You could probably play him a little 4, some 3, and so definitely some 2 as well. So, you know, he makes your roster make a little more sense, in my opinion. He allows you to get away from some players who you don't think may be a long-term piece. He looks like a retradable piece so long as he doesn't get hurt again, which may not be the greatest bet, but he's healthy right now. I just think that, you know, when you talk about the sweet medium of your timeline, I think he's probably like 26 years old or something like that, so he fits in with Austin Reeves and Dalton Knecht. You know, going forward with your timeline post LeBron James, he looks like a piece that's going to be able to stick around. And if you want to trade him in the event you have to rebuild, you're probably going to be able to get something for him then, just like you're able to see Brooklyn get a little something for him now. So I always say if I want to trade for somebody, I want them to be a player that I can retrade for picks if necessary. I don't know that I can get first rounders for him later on, but I'm pretty sure I can get multiple second rounders for him, which could equate to being pleased with retrading him after this era ends. So, you know, I mean, this is the type of stuff we're thinking about, man. Dude, I don't know what his contract looks like. That's the problem for me. If his contract's ugly, then just another piece we can't afford. But as far as I can tell, it seems like his contract should be reasonable. $100 million, something like that. 20 mil a year or something, I'm guessing. If that's what we're looking at, that's reasonable for him. And I would be happy to bring him in. Of course, if you move D'Angelo Russell to get him, now you have a backup point guard need, which is something we're always understanding of. You know, at this point, we found that D'Lo can fill our backup point guard role. So if we move him, now we need to do it. You know what I mean? Now we need the piece that Dennis Schroeder would be. Now, you know what I mean? We need to find a way to get that done. So I don't really know what the answer is. But once you move D'Lo, you know you have a whole new need at this point. So yeah, man, these are things I'm talking about, man. And Cam Thomas, like I said, he's a plethora of riches as it pertains to scoring. I just think he's one of the best scorers in basketball that's not a star. You know, you're not gonna find somebody maybe like Emmanuel Quickly, you know, somebody like that, but you're not gonna find too many players that are not stars that can score like Cam Thomas. It ain't too many. If they are capable of putting up the type of numbers he is, they likely made an all-star team or going to at some point. I just think he's superb, you know, atom bomb, basically. He really is. I don't have any limit on what my expectations would be for Cam Thomas scoring the basketball. There are none. I don't know that he can do a whole lot else. But in terms of the scoring column, he could score with some Hall of Famers, dude. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you've seen the best out of this dude. Because a good portion of the years that he played with the Nets, they were benching him. They were not allowing him to get opportunities. And when he did get opportunities, he was scoring 35 a night. And then they kid him out of rotation for whatever his reasons they did. Maybe his defense wasn't any good. I don't know. I genuinely don't really know what the heck was going on there. It was almost like they couldn't take the cuffs off of him. And then at times he would get hurt. So he'd have a couple of weeks where he shows what he can do, 30-point games, and then goes down with the injury, comes back and has to get back into form. Meanwhile, the Brooklyn Nets are no good. They're showcasing other people. So I just feel like he hasn't been showcased best, and he's never played for any other team. So you don't really know what he looks like in another situation. In this situation, that dude's a lethal scorer. With J.J. Redick pushing buttons, we're going to be a very, very serious scoring team regardless. But I think if you bring yourself Cam Thomas, you raise your ceiling significantly. Significantly. And so that's more of a talent of riches type of acquisition rather than a player of need. Sort of like I said, Jakob Poeltl would be. If we were to go after Jakob Poeltl, I just think he raises our overall ceiling. But I don't think he does all the things that you want your center to do in this situation. He just makes you so much more talented that you're probably a better team, even if he doesn't necessarily do those things and that kind of thing. So that's why I would go after Cam Thomas. if I could, because I just feel like in this system he could average 20 points a game next to Dalton Connect. The spacing is insane, and you can have situations where you have a 9-point lead, sit Bron down, AD down, and your score goes up to like 18-point lead, 20-point lead, 25-point lead with Cam Thomas coming off your bench. he can run the score up, and you ain't even got Bron on the floor. So that's the type of thing that I think this team needs. You know, I think this morning as I was pondering some things, I was saying, if I'm the Laker GM, if I'm Rob Pelinka, the one thing I feel like I need to be able to do this season and next season, so long as we're still in the Bron and AD era, is win games when Bron and AD are out for weeks at a time. If we get the Bron shoulder injury, knock on wood it doesn't happen, and he has to go down for 3 weeks, can we stay above 500? If AD goes down with the wrist and he's out 4 to 6 weeks, can you survive that? That is what I would be trying to make sure I'm able to do. That's the goal when you have Bron and AD, in my opinion. There are a lot of different things you need to be able to do. But the one thing you must be able to do is not have them on the floor and still be able to run up the score. I'm telling you, because that's going to be the difference between whether or not you're going to be available in the playoffs. If they can't go down with an injury without you bottoming out, then everything they're doing while they're on the floor in the regular season is for naught. Because the moment that injury comes around, your team sucks. That should be the goal from here on out. Can we withstand the injuries? Not the season ending, because that ends your season effectively. But the 3-week, 4-week, month and a half, can you win games without those two so that they can rest, come back, and be ready for the playoffs if it comes to that? Because if you're able to, your ceiling is championship. But if you're not able to, then your ceiling could potentially be playoffs, but your floor is ultimately giving the Hawks the best record, the Cooper Flag. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would want to be able to do if I were the GM of the Lakers. I would be motioning around trying to get so much talent and make it fit so well that there's no way we can't compete without Bron and AD. And so that's why I'm going after a Cam Thomas. That's why I maybe would look at Jakob Poeltl, because I feel like if AD and Bron are down and those players are in the rotation along with other players who can do basic things, you should still be able to compete at a level that allows you to win games in the regular season and stay in the playoff mix, in the play-in tournament mix. That's the goal there for me. So, and this CBA might not be that possible with only 2 picks to trade. It may even be less possible. I'm just telling you what it would be in my mind. That's what I would want to do. Whether or not I'm able to accomplish that, that's a different conversation. So, yeah, man, I think Brooklyn has some stuff that everybody should be looking at. If you're a playoff team, or if you got a need, they have stuff and they're ready to make moves. They are open for business. I know they want to rebuild, so they obviously want trade equity that's going to be in the draft, or young talent, your young guy, Jalen Hood, your Shafino, your Max Lewis. They want that stuff for sure. So if you're trying to do a deal with them, you're likely going to have to give them stuff like that. Which for us, when it comes to Jalen Hood, Shafino, is probably going to happen. I'm not the pro trade Jalen guy, but I also understand what the Lakers have set themselves up for. So moving him is likely what to expect, and I'm kind of already there. I would like the Lakers to try to develop him, but I also don't want to let him walk for nothing. So if they've already committed to trading him, I just assume that he's already gone, and he's just like any other piece that's not on our team. You know what I mean? That's unfortunately how I have to absorb that Jalen Shafino scenario. So it's like Scottie Pippen. You know what I mean? He's not on our team no more. He was ours, not anymore. Young player, probably would be great for us, but we're going to have to watch him develop elsewhere. And I know how much of a mistake that is, but I also understand what we've set ourselves up for in regards to his contract. So, yeah, that's that. And, at the end of the day, Dalton Connect is also another atom bomb. We have him on tab. I think that if for some reason something catastrophic happens, this team immediately becomes his. If Bron and AD goes down, this is Dalton's team, and you want to make sure that the units that you have in place can complement him as he goes forward. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but like I said, the whole point is to make sure you're good enough to survive if Bron and AD or Bron and either one of them go down. You have a 30-point scorer who can shoot the ball like crazy. Do you have the other elements that can make your team fit while those two are out? So that's pretty much it, man. That's where my head is. I think the Lakers, it's a tough spot, you know what I mean, to try to make moves in this collective bargaining agreement. We talk about it every day. It's not easy to make trades right now. So I would not be surprised if we don't do anything at all. But we should try to get things done. And I think the Brooklyn Nets are likely a team who would be willing to make things happen for us and may not cost crazy amounts to get it done. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. Everybody enjoy the game. I'll have something for you at halftime and, of course, at the end of it, BDL 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.